Alright, good afternoon folks, good evening folks. It is just gone 6 p.m. on London time on Super Thursday, which wasn't that super really, was it, in the end of the day, unfortunately. Not a great deal. So yeah, I've been out a lot of the day today. I had to pick the wife up from the airport. I haven't been actively trading, keeping an eye on on price action or prices on the screen, but on the phone, but not actually getting too involved. Of course, just to summarise or to wrap, as it were, we're looking at the Bank of England. Pretty dovish comments from there, talking about, or they've downgraded their inflation outlook, as we know, which is not also necessarily good for sterling. Also looking at a 7-1 vote, which was disappointing to the markets as well. I think the markets were sort of like hoping for a 6-2, 2 being the dissenters, i.e. calling for rate hikes now. It's just one governor, one policy member that voted, as she did last month, for a hike. She's actually leaving. I think she's leaving next month anyway, so she's going to be replaced. And the second member didn't actually go with her either. So a pound certainly didn't like that. It's fallen off its perch, broken back down through the 129 handle in euro dollar. Also, the euro pounds have been affected, so I've given back some substantial gains in the euro pound, and just before it all came out, I was stopped out on the euro yen for break even. So no regrets, of course, but I was at some point, nicely 3 pips or 5 pips away from take profit, but didn't quite get it. We rolled back over, but I'm out of there. Seeing the New Zealand dollar continues to weaken on the back of the or Bank of, you know what I'm saying, the RNBC dovish statements last night saying they really needed inflation to push on for them to think about moving rates. So that's really sort of put the New Zealand dollar at pretty much 7 or 8 month lows against the basket of currencies, certainly against the US dollar. What we're seeing at the moment, and it was also the Canadian dollar seems to have taken this in its stride, but let's look at oil prices first of all. The Moody's downgraded 5 or 6 of the Canadian banks, and that really, was reasonably negative for the Canadian dollar. Although the Canadian dollar seems to be faring up, I think, on the back of stabilisation in the oil price. But really, that's not great news for the Canadian dollar. So I'm surprised that the CAD didn't come under more pressure. As I said to you on the last couple of streams, the last few weeks, really, Canadian dollar is a currency that really is just very. There's you're one tweet away from a NAFTA comment from Trump. I'm about to say Bush then, shows my age. One comment from him coming out on tweet, but he doesn't tweet, Bush. And you get the downgrade for Moody's, and these are all things. You've got oil prices. OPEC ministers trying to get the oil price back up again. It's all a lot going on there. So the Canadian dollar, I'm still quite mindful of, wary of, but it seems to have held it up over that announcement, which is a bit of a surprise, really. Rest of the markets pretty much sidelining the US dollar, making some sort of like grinding. Today's been a bit of a non-day, sort of like stuck at the 99.50 level, up and down either side of the 99.50 level. They're the moving average, so it's been a bit of a non-event. We had a spike through with the with PPI earlier. PPI was not popped high on the PPI, that stands for Producer Price Index. So initially like that, but then fell back into its sort of safety zone of 99.50. So it's the PPI here that sort of like put it on 25 pips and rolled back over. Really it's a difficult market to call at the moment. This is a market wrap, so I'm not really going to be putting out trade ideas. As you know, I'm certainly happy to discuss anything you want me to look at. But the one thing I am sort of looking at really is dollar yen. Yen still continues to be the currency that it's had a reasonable day today, but look at dollar yen. So this is the 1 hour. This pin bar here, or hammer candle. Yeah, we spiked through. This is my. I've had this in for a few days. This is my buy zone in dollar yen, and we pierced through here on the PPI. Sorry, this is when was that? That was at I wasn't at my desk, but that was at 3 o'clock. Do we have anything out at 3 o'clock? But yeah, dollar spiked through here at 3, and now we've traded higher. So this is a bullish setup, if you like, in the dollar yen. Dollar yen certainly has my bias to the upside. This here that I've sort of turquoise blue here is a 50% pullback from the 13 breakout level. So 113 up to the 114.45 something area, the highs here. That was a 50% pullback. Okay, so we pierced through the 50% pullback area. Hasn't continued to the downside. Pin bar closed higher than that bullish candle, and we're pushing back up. So, you know, looking for entries possibly in getting long dollar yen into tomorrow. You know, dollar's had not a bad move against this. You know, we've been grinding higher back from, let's have a look, back from 14th of April, still in the uptrend, bit of a temporary setback here, back down to the 112, but then motored on back on again, broke that that level that I've just highlighted there, the 13 level, and it's got my bias to the upside now. So we've been looking at the sort of minors recently. We've been looking at pound yen and euro yen and so forth. You know, the euro now grinding lower since the French elections. You've got pound under a bit of pressure now with the inflation report that came out today, downgrading inflation. I think pound could be in for a recovery to the to a move to the downside. You know, we've had a really good move up pretty much since the election announcement, the UK general election. Pound's been on sort of a warpath to the upside. You know, we've stalled quite a few times at 130. This is pound dollar. I'm not making a trade call here. I'm just sort of like generalising the markets. We're into this level. You know, broke through 129. You know, it's really had struggles to push above 130. You could see some consolidation in this pair with any sort of strength materialising in the US dollar. You could see this pull back down to the 127 handle, you know, without too much stress. You know, 127.80. It's 100 pips below here. You know, failed to make these highs, failed to to push through and hit up to the 132 level, 33 level. So I think this possible could be time to realign the your trade ideas. It's all been pound strength recently. Of course, I don't predict what's going on. I just follow what's going on in the trends. At the moment, we are looking at the 4 hour. We've broken below these my faithful moving averages, the 10, 20, 40. I want to see a couple of more candles down here before I start looking at the a change in trend. The additive. The trend is your friend. So the bend at the end. This could be the bend at the end. So we'll have to wait and see here before I start playing this to the downside. But if it does, then targeting 127. I'm not getting overly bullish at the moment in pound. Yes, we've got the British elections coming up, but I've just got to go with what's on the charts. It's fading at these levels. I wouldn't want to be getting along the pound again, certainly until we've seen certainly. Well, I want to see how we react to the 127.50 level. Quite honestly, could be here. Let's have a look. I mean, let's take a level. Let's just take a 50% level from here up. .50% level takes us in around 128 from the breakout here. This is a stops here. coming up on these big Mizubo candles, momentum candles. These are 4-hour candles, remember, so that's like a day, big solid day. And then pull back down. 61.8 I think is quite a good level to consider getting long at 127.50. 127.50. So I'm going to watch how this pans out over the next couple of trading sessions, today and Monday, into next week, just before I start selling pound against dollar to the downside. Certainly wouldn't be looking for getting long at these levels at the moment. So that's my bias on pound dollar. Someone was asking me about. Just while I'm looking at here, Night BK, you put in a strength meter in the window earlier, which I sort of looked at. If I can ask you a question, there's presumably someone's offering that for currency strength meter down low. Oh, I think I know these bunch of people. Yeah. Currency, okay. So he's got a little meter at the bottom giving figures. I mean, they pretty much all do the same. I mean, mine doesn't do that in terms of giving numbers. I don't know if you need to know the numbers. I just think you need to look at the lines. This is a fancy little bell and a whistle. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I haven't seen them. I haven't seen these people before, to be honest. I sort of stopped looking at other people's strength meters a few years back because they pretty much all do the same. But some people charge a lot of money for it. I saw one educator out there, or so-called educator out there, selling it for, done his course for about 10 grand, I think it was. I don't know if anybody pays $10,000 for a trading course. I guess some people do, otherwise they wouldn't be around. Why do you need a $10,000 trading course when you've got forex signals with all us mentors in here on standby, on call, chatting about the markets all day long? You can't get realer than this. I bet they don't take live trades in the market as they're talking. Yo-yo, hi. Mr. Woolsey. Good afternoon, sir. Pog champ. So without reading too much analysis from the last few hours since I've been off the desk, I mean, the Japanese yen obviously got some excitement at some point. I don't know if that was anything that came out, or whether that was just a flight to risk again. Don't see the flight to risk in the bond markets or in the stock market, but the yen put a bid on, but it's coming back now. That's the 15. Don't really look at the 15, to be honest. Look at the 1 hour. Certainly became a strong currency at one point. This type of sort of like summary chart. I would find it a little bit difficult to pick any real direction out of that now. It's been a great trendy market for the last few weeks in pound yen. My bets are off on that at the moment. Have a look, pound yen. Anything showing for me in pound yen? Yeah. Can't really. I want to see how this pans out. I'm not selling it at the moment. This is a potential level of support. I'm just mindful of these candles, these big long momentum candles. They have a tendency to when you see one of these candles, they have a tendency to have some consolidation. Is anyone else complaining of an echo? Right. Screen's going to go blank for a sec. Can't think why that's echoing. No, I don't know why that's echoing, folks. It's annoying. That's muted. This could be YouTube have changed something here.